All righty. We'll see what type of finish this is right here on the Burgundy and Gold postgame show. Merry Christmas from our family to yours here at 106.7 The Fan. 156 left to go in regulation. Washington down 7 at home to the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas with the ball. Is Washington going to get a second down stop and make it a third and short? Washington started off this game miserably. Really got their teeth kicked in. The defense could not get a stop in the first half of this football game. But here in the second half, we have seen Washington get aided by some penalties, I will admit, as well. But we've also saw them get a little bit of a pass rush based on their secondary being sticky in coverage. Jonathan Jones, Mikey Savers, still Noah I, the whole crew playing well here in the second half, and it's allowed Washington to get some sacks. It was a really, like I mentioned, bad start to the game for Washington. They couldn't get anything going offensively. Dallas doubled Washington in plays, and that one, that completion that we just saw probably going to do it. As Dak Prescott hooks up with George Pickens for a first down, and it's probably going to close the game out here for Dallas. But, man, very frustrating game to watch. It is the best way that I will put this. A frustrating game to watch for Washington. More of the same when it comes to the issues and struggles that they've had defensively, man. It has been frustrating as all get out. Watching this group this year and this afternoon, no different on the defensive side of the football as usual. Here on the postgame show, we'll take your calls, 1-800-636-1067. You can tweet at me as well at NELL_BTP. We'll crunch the numbers as soon as this thing goes final. But, man, tough loss. I'm happy, though, that the group was able to compete in the second half the way that they did. And I know folks are going to say, well, the first half was miserable, and the first half was awful. Yes, it was. I watched the game just like you did. But I don't want to sit here and dwell on the negatives. We've been known all year long that this team is bad. Why not highlight some of the positives that we saw in this one? We'll be brutally honest here as we take your calls at 1-800-636-1067. Folks are probably starting to file out now. 30-23, the current score. Washington just burned their final timeout. Minute 38 left to go in regulation. We'll give out some game balls. We'll break it down from each and every angle as we roll throughout the post-game show here. I mean, I am a loss for words almost for some of the stuff that I saw here today. It's been extremely repetitive, meaning that we've seen this all year long. Missed tackles, busted coverages, the run defense not very good here this afternoon. Like I said, we'll give you the final numbers here in a moment. But Dallas, 5 yards a pop on the ground here this afternoon. Malik Davis going over 100 yards. Javonte Williams going over 54 yards. Hunter Lipke, who? I will give credit where credit is due. This is why I say our profession is the absolute best. What other profession can you be dead wrong and still keep a job? I was dead wrong yesterday. If you listen to me and Toby yesterday sitting in for G&D, I did not think this Commanders offense would score. Josh Johnson had to look good in relief last week. He didn't look good in the preseason. And I was pretty doom and gloom in terms of what this offense could do here this afternoon. But credit to Josh Johnson. Credit to Cliff Kingsbury. I thought he called a really good game. Credit to this offensive line, who obviously was down pieces. They lost Tyler Biotish and Brandon Coleman at points during this game. They were already without Sam Cosmi, who was put on injured reserve. No Laramie Tunsil in this one either. So credit to them. Washington efficient through the air, 15-23 for a $198 for Josh Johnson. But on the ground, A, Bill Krosky Merritt, his second career 100-yard performance, saving it for primetime against the Dallas Cowboys here on Christmas Day on Netflix. 11 carries, 105 yards, including a 72-yard touchdown run that really got Washington back into this football game and really injected a bunch of life into that stadium and into me as well here in studio as we got the chance to watch it, man. Bill Merritt is somebody who I like. I think he's got some juice. I think the vision is the best on the team. I think what you're seeing with him on some of these runs is the byproduct of being a rookie running back in the National Football League, a little light in the britches, wanting to get stronger coming up this offseason. But the vision in the home run ability for this kid is totally undeniable. 72-yard touchdown run for Bill Merritt. I don't know the last Washington running back. I don't know the last Washington running back that possessed that type of ability to take it to the house on any given run. I don't remember. And Bill Merritt has shown that ability a couple of different times this year. He is the only running back, I believe, under contract going into 2026. So obviously you're going to have to take an extended look at him and potentially have him be your RB1 next year. I know they're going to bring in competition at that spot, but if you're looking for bright spots in what has been a season from hell, Washington's 7th-round pick,
Bill Krosky Merritt, definitely a bright spot for this group. Other bright spots that we saw offensively. Can we get a church clap for Ben Sinnott? Career-high 3 catches here this afternoon at 29 yards, including a 12-yard reception. He was good. And then Deebo Samuel, man. 2 carries for 25 yards total. He had a 4-yard loss, but the carry that all got us excited, a 29-yard end around on a jet sweep. And boy, the way that he finished, violent. The burst that he showed, explosive. I don't know what his market is going to look like because I think there are going to be plenty of teams across the National Football League that look at Deebo and say, hey, why don't you bring that to our offense? So I don't know what the market's going to look like via free agency, but if it doesn't break the bank, if it's not going to significantly cost you, I would consider bringing Deebo Samuel back next year. The end around, obviously explosive. He had a big-time reception that went for 41 yards as well on a catch and run. He just looked explosive this afternoon, and we've seen it at times this year. I think Deebo, as much as anybody, though, has struggled or suffered, rather, from the attrition at the other spots on this offense. Point blank. And he's another guy that I would strongly consider bringing back next year. See, I know that we want to fire everyone and that we want to cut everyone and bring no one back simply because, of the way the year is gone. You're 4-11. But to look at this season and act as if there aren't any bright spots at all, I think you're just being overly critical. But the reality is Deebo is on a short list of dudes that I'm super intrigued by and want to bring back. He had a big-time performance today. And I know what some people are going to say, he's Jekyll and Hyde. The consistency is not there. If you're really watching some of these touches that Deebo gets on some of these screens, most of the screens that they run for Deebo, not well blocked, either on the perimeter by the skill guys at tight end and wide out, or the offensive line not getting in front on screens. When you talk about him being a traditional back in the backfield, right? Offensive line doesn't block well for him. So Deebo's got juice. Deebo's got pop. I just think it's a situation where they have to, do a better job of creating lanes for him. I would be interested in bringing Deebo back, key caveat here, at the right price. So I see some folks in the chat, and we're on YouTube as well, on 106.7 the Fans YouTube page, here for the Burgundy and Gold postgame show. Here on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Washington falling to 4-12 on the season after a 30-23 loss at the hands of the Dallas Cowboys. Talked a lot about the offense here. I want to talk about the defense as well. Everyone wants to talk about Trezon Newton. And you all can say I'm hating. You all can say I'm not giving the proper respect and credit where credit is due. See, I'm not a box score watcher. I know ball. Johnny Newton today finished with 3 sacks. Most sacks in the game since Preston Smith in 2015. But the reality of the situation is if you watch this football game here this afternoon, you understand that Jazon Newton, outside of the 3 sacks that he had, was not very impactful. There is a reason the Dallas Cowboys rushed for 211 yards on 44 attempts today. Because the D tackles in the middle of this defense, Jazon Newton and Javon Kinlaw in particular, in terms of guys that I actually have expectations for, they did not play worth a damn. Point blank. Point blank. They didn't play well. Honestly. The secondary today, Washington, on paper, if you were actually watching this thing, you know what I'm talking about. On paper, it's going to look like the Commanders had a great day rushing the passer. 6 sacks. Most of Dallas has given up all season. But here's the kicker. Here's why Dallas was able to run for was sacked 6 times, while Washington was able to get 6 sacks. The secondary on those 6 sacks were excellent. Dak Prescott was forced to hold the football, and when you have 6 and 7 guys, right, or 6 and 7 seconds, rather, to get after the passer, yes, you're going to get a sack. That is the way that the cookie crumbles most of the time, man. I give a lot of credit to Washington's secondary today for the sacks that they were able to get. All 6 of them. There were a couple of good individual rushes. Jazon's last sack that he had was his best of the game. And when he actually won up front and didn't win off effort. And by the way, I'm not down-talking Jazon Newton for making those effort sack plays. The ability to be in shape and to continue to be able to hunt after the quarterback when you're tired, like, that matters to me. That matters to me. 100%. But I'm not going to act as if he had some masterclass performance. I don't just look at sacks when we talk about defensive line play. It's so much deeper than that. He was getting pushed off of the ball all game long. Him and Javon Kinlaw. For as many resources as Washington has invested at the defensive tackle position, their inability to play the run is piss poor. Point blank. Their inability to hold the point of attack against a double team all year long is flat out embarrassing. D tackles getting pushed 6 and 7 yards off the football. That's why our run defense is one of the worst in the National Football League. Linebackers are sometimes slow getting over the top. The run fits from the other guys aren't always there either. But their D tackles, their interior defensive linemen, get moved off of the football ad nauseum, regularly. It's bad. And Javon Kinlaw is making $15 million per. Deron Payne's got the highest cap hit on the team, although he didn't play today. Jazon Newton is the 36th overall pick. Come on. Got to see more. Got to get more. There is a talent issue on this football team. And I think each and every week it gets exposed, especially against a team like Dallas, whose strength is their offensive line. We do not have, in my opinion, an above-average starter up front along our D-line. In an ideal situation, Javon Kinlaw is a rotational defensive tackle. Too inconsistent. Makes splash plays, right? Makes splash plays, but isn't consistent nearly enough down in and down out. Same thing for Deron Payne. Same thing for Jazon Newton. Point blank. There is a talent issue on the defensive side of the football in particular. I don't know how many starters you realistically have on defense that are legitimate NFL starters in this league. I don't feel that way about Quan Martin. I don't feel that way about Frankie Louvu. I don't feel that way about Jazon Newton. I don't feel that way about Javon Kinlaw. Sorry, I don't. Mikey Sainris still. You saw a good Mikey, you saw a bad Mikey here today. I think the problem with Mikey Sainris still, I don't know, right? I don't know if he has the athleticism to be a legitimate outside corner in this league. I don't think he changes directions very well. I think the ball skills are there. I think he's a willing tackler, sometimes just too small. But, like, we can love Mikey's hustle and love Mikey's mentality, but also acknowledge maybe he's not a starting outside corner in this league. Are you really comfortable going into next year with him and Trey Amos as your starting corners? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. We can begin to open up the phones here at 1-800-636-1067. 1-800-636-1067. Washington falling to 4-12 on the season. One game left to go to wrap out and close out what has been a miserable 2025 campaign for the Washington Commanders. 1-800-636-1067. Let's start with our guy SJ in Woodbridge. Who wants to chime in? What's going on?
In a game that they lost, the last time that they saw
Put him on hold. I don't know what was wrong with his phone. Do you have it potted up? Are we ready to roll?
Gotta focus, dude. Everything's on. Let's focus on the.
But nonetheless, I think
Mark. What's up, Mark?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? How you doing, man?
Good.
Look, let me ask you this. All up until the last couple of weeks, I kind of thought it was really about Adam Peters. Now I'm starting to wonder about Dan Quinn, and I'm really wondering if he comes back, because I'm a firm believer that Cliff is going to be gone. Cliff is gone. Witt is going to be gone. Witt and Cliff are going to be gone. No way. I just see that being gone. You can't have two quarterbacks getting hurt, and something has to deal with your offense. That really has to. We have to start looking at Cliff Kingsbury about that. So that's one thing. But I don't know if we.
Hold on, Mark. And I'm listening to you, but there's no way after today's performance you've come on here talking about the offense being a problem. What the hell did you just watch?
No. I'm not. I said the defense is the problem.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying I don't know about. That's why I said I said both Cliff and Witt are going to be gone at the end of this year, but I don't know if they can recover if Dan comes back, unless they get a veteran defensive coordinator.
Mark, this is my thing. I don't think it has anything to do with the scheme. I really don't. I think Dan Quinn's a fine defensive coach. They lack talent at all three levels of this defense. All three levels.
Okay, and that's fine.
They can't fit. How the hell are you supposed to play zone coverage if you can't get a pass rush? You all are over there drooling over yourselves because Jazon Newton had 3 sacks and the team had 6 sacks. They had 8 seconds to rush the damn quarterback. What the hell were y'all watching?
Not only that, Linnell, I don't know about you, but Dallas was running all up the middle all day long.
Because we don't have quality starting level defensive tackles. Appreciate the call as always. We're just getting rolling though here on the Burgundy and Gold post-game show. Merry Christmas to you and yours. We'll take your calls coming up on the other side. Washington falling to 4-12 on the season. We'll dissect it all coming up next as the Fan. I'm ready to roll. Burgundy and Gold post-game show. Right here on 106.7 The Fan and the Team 980. Taking your calls at 1-800-636-1067. Maybe, and this is why you all have such an issue with me, because certain things I just refuse to get up for. Jazon Newton had 3 sacks today in the stat sheet. And I'm on social media. You all know how to get at me, at NELL_BTP. And I'm on social media, and people are acting like Jazon Newton is a world beater all of a sudden because he had 3 sacks today. Do you know why Johnny Newton had 3 sacks today? He played with good effort. The bare minimum. He was supposed to get the 3 sacks he was supposed to have today. Those are 3 effort sacks. You know why? Because the secondary on those plays made Dak Prescott hold the football. And it gave Jazon Newton 6-7 seconds to get to the quarterback. So credit to him. I still need to see more. He was god-awful today versus the run. Javon Kinlaw was god-awful today versus the run. So while I'm happy to see them get to the quarterback 6 different times, that's fun, that's fair, calm down on Jazon Newton. Seriously. 1-800-636-1067. A lot of positives, as we mentioned, on the offensive side of the football. Thought Josh Johnson played as well as we could have expected him to. I thought Bill Krosky-Merritt, obviously, the explosiveness he showed in the run game. Right side of the offensive line on that 72-yard run, clearing out a hole. Nice job by Josh Connolly. Nice job by Trey Burks. I mean, this is some of the good with this Commanders offense, and why I am high on Cliff Kingsbury still. And why I am okay with Cliff Kingsbury still. He called a hell of a game here today. And for the most part, they executed, albeit against the poor Dallas defense. Let's get to the calls, though. James is in Landover. What's up, James?
Hello?
James, what's up?
Yeah, I got cut off. I mean, I ain't know I can't hear the guy no more.
Because you're on air.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, James from Landover. I got 4 points. Bobby Wagner, Luvu, awful. They got outcoached again for like the 6th time. No adjustments on defense from Dan Quinn. And Sam Steele is terrible. Can't tackle. Has no awareness. This team is awful. And we got the healthy quarterback standing on the sideline smiling the whole game.
Appreciate the call. I mean, look, certain things are good to complain about. Other things are not. I have no gripe with the coaching staff today. Point blank. Dallas is a more talented football team than you are. You're down a bunch of guys. I thought they fought. And whoever spoke up in the second half, kudos to, or at halftime rather, kudos to you. Because you saw a different fire from this group defensively in that second half. Tony is in D.C. What's up, Tony?
What's up, Linnell? This is Harry's Tony, man. I'm just leaving the game, man.
What's
Happy
going
holidays.
on? Happy holidays to you.
I just left the game, and big ups to Bill. Bill was our spark plug today. But when it came down to the defense, we still struggling. That zone is really killing us. Truthfully, it almost still looked like the Witt defense, even though Quinn has taken over. But I'm just looking forward to next season, man, so we can make the improvements and get this team back into the prominence that it should be.
That's the crazy part. I appreciate the call. Next year, boy, knowing what this team looks like now, I don't know. It is going to be one of the most difficult offseason tasks for a GM in the NFL, what Adam Peters has to deal with here and what he is going to have to do. And by the way, it's because of him. He built this team. He's going to have to fix it here in the immediate future. It's just hard for me to look at this group defensively, and I can't. Dallas is a high-octane offense. This is a top-5 offense in the National Football League. You were without your best run defender in Deron Payne, and it looked like it today. You gave up 5 yards to carry on 45 attempts. It was god-awful. The defensive tackle position also has to be addressed. The front four does not have a difference maker up front. Point blank. S.A. wanting to chime in. What's going on? Athen and Annapolis. What's going on, Athen?
Hey, buddy. Hey, Merry Christmas
Merry
to my
Christmas
buddy
to you,
Linnell Anthony Willingham II. So, listen, buddy. they just don't. For everybody sitting here hooping and hollering, they don't have a defense. Okay, it's not even worth being called a defense. It is. They have no starters that are worth a damn that you would name on anybody else's team. And Linnell, I'm not one to really cry about officiating, but they had two horrific calls.
They did.
For a roughing the passer, go against them, and then the one on Reeves in the end zone, just absolutely horrible. You're not going to overcome that when you don't have talent on defense. But the play of the game for me was the 3rd and 16 with 6 minutes left, where Dak checked it down to the tight end. He's 8 yards short of the first down, and Luvu conveniently misses the tackle, and the guy gets 6 more yards, and they went for it on 4th and 2 and got it. That's kind of just been the story of what it's been for them all year. You know, they didn't, I don't even know if they had 40 plays on offense today. Just to be even in the game, it was a miracle in itself. But this defense needs a complete overhaul. And to your point, it's a very good, astute point. Newton sacks, yeah, they may go down as sacks, but, I mean, he still gave up 300 yards in the first half, and he still gave up 200 yards.
And on the sacks, he had 6 seconds to get to the quarterback. Those are called effort sacks. He'll get highlighted in the film room for not being a lazy slob and continuing to play hard, like some of his other teammates refuse to do. But let's not act like he's Warren Sapp. Twitter is in a damn frenzy over Jazon Newton. And I'm not here hating on Jazon Newton, but you only have so much value to me as a defensive tackle if you can't do the primary function of the position, and that is stopping the run. He is a below-average run defender. He is a average to above-average interior pass rusher. The 3 sacks he got today, 2 of them were by way of him continuing to give good effort and pursue the quarterback. Let's not act like Jazon Newton is some world beater. Did you guys watch him playing the run? Did you watch Javon Kinlaw playing the run? We do not have a legitimate NFL starting defensive tackle on the roster outside of maybe Deron Payne, who is an above-average run defender. That's his superpower, super trait. Reggie is in D.C. What's up, Reggie?
Hey, Boogie, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? The Johnny Newton thing is killing me.
Look, man, I'm actually watching you on YouTube, man. I'm looking at your facial expressions. Sometimes we got bozo fans that call in, man. What are you guys watching? First of all, you can't blame Cliff. Got a quarterback that literally should be on one of those backup quarterback commercials. I forgot what sponsor it is where they bring in the backup quarterback. Like, come on, y'all. We got Josh Johnson, and the offense looks like they were functional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were functional.
I thought they did a great job offensively.
Yes. And so I'm thinking, like, man, okay, I like what I'm seeing from Ben Sinnott. 3 catches, a little bit more from him, but I'm okay. But I'm looking at, again, I don't know if we're going to sign Debo with the right price, but you give me Terry, Debo, you give me Burks, you give me the good offensive line.
Bill.
You see what your Daniels, and you see what your boy Jacosi Murray can do. Now, defensively, this is the thing, and I hate to say it, but I'm thinking because it was so great last year, man. Again, we went for it, and it was almost like a gift and a curse because we gave up. We put the rebuild, kind of in with recalibration or whatever it is. We kind of fast tracked it, and now we're paying the piper based off the injuries because you said this. We literally, and it's not even an exaggeration, we literally have not one defensive playmaker at all. So now in the off season, right, we're going to probably have about a top 5 pick. We're going to have to do what New England did. New England spent a boatload of money just on defense. And they was able
so what you're going to have to do.
They were able to turn it around. But when you look at, again, I know you're not a stats guy, Dak was 19 for 37. And I'm like you with Jazon Newton. I went through because I said, let me see how many sacks he had. Those were effort sacks because it was 7 seconds to throw the ball.
Exactly, Reggie. I got to let you go. Happy holidays to you and yours. I'm glad someone agrees with me on that point. Jesus Christ. My guy Jay in the chat saying Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson had a hell of a run stuff in this game. I don't know what the pressures look like. He didn't flash too many times, but he's somebody I'm definitely intrigued with in terms of looking at this team down the stretch. Let's get to our guy Fu wanting to chime in. What's going on, Fu?
But no, man. Today's my birthday. I took my son to his
Happy
first game.
birthday, my guy.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I don't even know really where to start. It starts and ends with the defense. It's not a NFL caliber defense, but I want to push back, man. I don't know why you are so against the notion that DQ's coaching scheme may not be up to par. Now, granted, talent is bereft on this defense. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But our defense was not good last year. It wasn't as terrible as it is now, but it wasn't a top 15, top 10 defense last year.
They impacted the quarterback more than they do this year. That's the problem, and why DQ's scheme looks bad. They can't impact the quarterback. Dak Prescott, everyone's glazing Jazon Newton because he had 3 sacks today. That's because Dak Prescott had 6-7 seconds to throw the ball. When you have that type of time, it's going to be hard to play zone on the back end, man.
I hear you, but I'm not gonna let one game outshine 15, 16 games of what I've seen of Johnny Newton.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's just. But here's the thing. Now, if you're saying DQ scheme is not the issue, and we get 6 or 7 new starters, which we're gonna need, then he is gonna have a lot of pressure on him to produce and to quickly turn this around. Again, we see other defensive head coaches, their sides of the ball don't look like this. That's my only thing. DQ, you have a lot of pressure on you and AP to get the personnel right and to hit the ground running. Ain't going to be no betting time and wait and see period going into year 3.
Yeah, so, appreciate the call as always, brother. Happy birthday to you. Merry Christmas. 1-800-636-1067. Anthony's in D.C. wants to chime in.
Yo, what's up? Merry Christmas.
What's going on, man?
I got to ask this question, though. You say
what's up, man?
You say you the youngest in charge, but how you end up with the short stick?
Oh, doing the show? Because I bleed this, man. I asked to be on this. I haven't done a post-game show all year.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious.
Come on, man. Look, I call for the ball. I'm going to get it.
Okay, I got you. Get that double time. But as far as the game goes, people, I hear it in your voice. You upset.
Because I'm upset. I'm mostly upset because I'm reading social media, and I got to understand that, like, not everybody looks at the game the same way. Johnny Newton is getting talked about on social media today like he is the second coming of Warren Sapp.
I feel you on that. And Johnny Newton hasn't done anything all year long. People need to understand it's just a simple proposition. We do not have talent.
Yes, point blank.
Point blank in the subject. This is not something new. This is something we've been true to for the last almost 30 years. Our defense has been trash except for a period here, a period there, so on and so forth. The championship game was a prelude to what happened this year. Now, the injuries played a part in it, but even still, our defense has always been the weak link from training camp through the season. I always said, I'm hopefully optimistic.
Yeah.
If the defense can hold up, we got a chance.
And they did not do that here on Christmas, Anthony. I appreciate you as always, man. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Mike in D.C. tagging in. What's up, Mike? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, brother. I want to talk about quarterback play. I
owe an apology to Josh Johnson. Anybody that listened to me yesterday knows that I owe an apology to Josh Johnson and the entire offense for that matter. But go ahead.
I don't think it's as much deserving of an apology as it is having a guy that's just willing to lay it all out no matter how bad he is on the correct offensive scheme and the ball trying to go out where it needs to go out instead of running away every 10 seconds. He did scramble, but he was trying to make reads. He was trying to extend plays.
I agree.
He failed a lot, but, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was a lot better than Jaden Daniels in the beginning of this year in every facet. Now, the throws, accuracy, we're not including that, but the quarterback play.
People are going to try to kill you. People are going to try to kill you for what you just said, but I get what you're saying.
I don't even care.
I thought Josh Johnson, to your point, did a good job just doing what the play called for, going through the progressions, not trying to bail, staying within the pocket. I'll give you that. Not going to ever say he's better than Jaden Daniels, though, but I get what you're trying to say. Appreciate the call as always, my man. 1-800-636-1067 is the number. Burgundy and Gold post-game show continues next.
5 minutes to go. Handoff. Krusky Merritt. And he stays on his feet for the touchdown. 10 yards for the comeback.
Iron Eagle on the call for Netflix as the Commanders made their Netflix debut here on Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Washington falling to 4-12 after a 30-23 loss at the hands of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Linnell Willingham. This is the Burgundy and Gold postgame show here on 106.7 The Fan. We're also simulcasting on our sister station, the Team 980. You can check us out on YouTube as well. 1-800-636-1067 is the number. Heard the Bill Merritt touchdown coming back from the break there. He was a bright spot here this afternoon. Has really been one of the bright spots on the season. And for those of you out there keeping score of what the AP draft picks have done, damn sure looks like he's smashed a 7th-round pick with Ja'Cory Krosky. Man, another fumbling issues, something that he's got to get cleaned up, but the explosion that he showed and the vision on that 72-yard run, I mean, I don't know if there's been a Washington running back capable of that over the past decade or so. So definitely big ups to Bill Krosky Merritt, the only running back under contract next year for the Washington Commanders is Chris Rodriguez is a restricted free agent. Jeremy McNichols, Austin Eckler, unrestricted free agent. So we'll see what Washington does to beef up the competition in the backfield. Bill Merritt, 11 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was excellent. And shout out to this makeshift offensive line that Washington threw out there this afternoon. Tyler Biadasz lost for the game in about the third quarter. You see Nick Allegretti come in and move people in the run game. Thought Andrew Wiley came in off the bench and played well. Brandon Coleman fighting through injury throughout the course of this one. Really impressed with the offensive line, a group that we continue to praise in terms of their depth and their ability. Deebo Samuel, big bright spot as well. Another guy I'm looking at and saying, hey, you give me games like that, you give me pop and juice like that, if it's at the right price, sure, I'd be interested in bringing Deebo Samuel back. Want to continue to take your calls, 1-800-636-1067. Troy is in Chicago. Wanted to chime in. What's up, Troy?
Hey, what's up, Linnell? I'm literally just here to complain about who is ever teaching these guys how to tackle. They have no sense of wrapping up and bringing a guy down. The secondary comes in, they lead with their head or their shoulder. Mikey and Jartavius Martin, he's not Quan anymore, have no sense of how to tackle.
Yeah.
Luvu stinks. He's too slow. No pass rush. I just can't watch this anymore. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate you, as always, man. Yeah, look, the defense was atrocious. Here's the problem with Washington moving forward and why my optimism level is just not very high. They have so many holes defensively and simply not enough resources and assets to fill those holes. You want to build your roster through the draft and supplement it through free agency. Based on your resources, you are going to have to get very creative in terms of how to retool this thing. Because realistically, let's just start from the outside in when it comes to the defense. Is your starting safety tandem currently on the roster? Probably not. Probably not. You need to bring in serious competition at both of your safety spots. And here's the thing about safety in this scheme. They want to play at least 3 guys at that spot. I think you have your third safety potentially. I don't know. Maybe Will Harris is that guy for you. But Quan Martin at free safety, I've had enough of it. I've seen enough. Jeremy Reeves, an elite special teamer, average safety. If he's your third safety, maybe you're okay. But like in terms of like your 2 deep half center fielders, guys that can go make plays on the ball, you don't have one right now in your secondary. Mikey Saverstill's got the best ball skills out of all your defensive backs. But the reality is, to me, he does not have the lateral quickness or the long speed to be a starting NFL corner in this league. And he's a little undersized. I love his effort. I think he's feisty. I think he plays with great effort. I just don't know if he is a starting NFL corner. And I know that's going to sound like, well, now, what? How can you say that about him after what you saw in the rookie year? Yeah, maybe there is some merit to that. It's hard for me, though, and this is where I get myself caught up. It's hard for me to evaluate the secondary when this pass rush is as unimpactful as it is. Like that's the difficult part for me, right? It sucks. it sucks. The pass rush is non-existent. And I get it, you've had a bunch of injuries at that spot. But when you think about the investments that they've made at defensive tackle, and I know they had 6 sacks today. So if you call in screaming about the 6 sacks, great. Why did those 6 sacks happen for the most part? Those 6 sacks happened because Dak Prescott was forced to hold on to the football because this secondary, in my opinion, on those 6 sacks, did an excellent job of, quite frankly, just being sticky in coverage on the back end, allowing this pass rush some extra time to get home. Now, credit to the pass rush, though, right? You got to finish the play. You got to continue to play with good effort. You got to pursue. That's great, but they got to be more impactful. They weren't. We get ready to pull up the next-gen stats from today's game because I really do want to get into how legitimate the pass rush was today. Or was it, does the secondary deserve more credit for the pass rush, or does the guys up front deserve more credit for the pass rush today? Because I think from watching it on first review in real time, the secondary on all of these sacks forced Dak Prescott to hold on to the football. And when you're able to do that, you're going to have some opportunities to get home. So I dig it. I dig it, man. So those next-gen stats probably aren't going to be available till after the game or till tomorrow because I want to see the average time to throw that Dak Prescott had today. That's how I'm judging our pass rush, not based off of coverage sacks. They don't get heaps of praise and credit from me for that. I'm not that guy. But there were some other good things on defense. I made a list of guys on social media that I am super intrigued in terms of bringing back next year. Honestly. And I think Jonathan Jones, surprisingly enough, is a part of that faction of dudes I would be interested in bringing back next year. Here's the thing. When I talk about bringing him back, by the way, I'm not talking about to be your starting corner. I'm talking about to have a solid depth piece. I'm talking about bringing him back to contribute to the depth of your room. He's still got long speed. He still plays the ball well. He can still run, right? You're going to need 5 corners on this team, right? And he should be one of them, in my opinion. I've loved what they've gotten out of him this year. Not saying as a starter, but as somebody I'd be interested in bringing back as a depth piece, a veteran that can speak some life into these dudes and lead by example. Jordan McGee, once again, flashing all over the field. Play in, play out. He may end up being the second best player out of that 2024 draft class. I think the clear-cut first best guy is Jaden Daniels, and I think the second best player in that 24 class is now coming down to Jordan McGee and Mikey Samers still. And I think Jordan McGee is a better linebacker than Mikey Samers still is a corner. Just my thoughts on it. 1-800-636-1067 is the number. 1-800-636-1067 is the number. Miss Jackie out in Frederick. Wanted to chime in. What's going on? Miss Jackie, are you there? Are you there?
Hey, my man, hey, Linnell, I'm sorry. You caught me, I was in the truck. Hold on. My bad. So, Linnell, can you hear me?
I got you.
Oh, my bad. I'm still in the parking lot at the stadium, but look.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, baby. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
So, look, I was trying to take a picture of my granddaughter. I bought her a jersey, so I was trying to take a picture, and then you called me. But, look, the game, listen, I just wanted it to be competitive. You know, I feel like if Dallas fans are proud about beating a third-string quarterback that we could have won the game with, I mean, hey, more power to him. But listen, I feel like we just got to, we got to get a DC. And we got to get some players because had we had half a defense, bro, this game could have went the other way because we was right there with them, but we just couldn't get stops on crucial downs. 3rd down and 5, and you let Dak scramble for 6. But look, I ain't even mad. I'm just glad we was competitive. We didn't get blown out.
That's what I'm happy about. It looked like it was going to go the other way at the beginning of the game.
Exactly. But look, Merry Christmas to everybody. Neil, Happy New Year, baby.
For sure. Good talking to you. Catch up with you soon. I mean, yeah, I think we haven't talked about that a ton because I've spewed the negativity here to start. Just getting the bad stuff out of the way because they're a lot more than bad than good. But I will say this. When they were down what was it, 21-3, and they had that touchdown drive where I think that's where Bill has the 70. No, they have the touchdown drive, and it's set up by the 29-yard end around to Deebo Samuel and gets them in good field position. You then get a 15-yard penalty on the horse collar tackle on Bill that advances the football, and then he caps off the drive. When they were down 21-3, like I thought this was going to go like Detroit. I thought this was going to go like Seattle, but credit to them. And I know people get tired of this, but credit to them for not quitting and rolling over in this football game. And I thought it was a spirited effort from them. They ultimately lost because they're just not that talented. But the reality of the situation is, at least, and I tweeted it out during the game, you can't keep getting blown out. They didn't get blown out this afternoon, so kudos to them getting it done. 1-800-636-1067. Wayne, leaving the game, wants to chime in. What's up, Wayne?
Hey, well, I'm impressed by what you're saying, that there's this big buzz about Newton. I mean, people who follow this know he was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and he played consistently at Illinois, not so much here. The problem is after they make these plays, you get them to 2nd and 16. They had a 2nd and 18. They could not make the next play.
Yeah.
There's a drop-off in the professionalism of the defense. They get all excited, lose their mind a bit, and the next play is not there. You can't play pro football for one play out of 3 or 4 downs. You got to be able to do it 3 or 4 downs at a time. It just wasn't there today.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Wayne. Happy holidays to you and yours, my friend. 1-800-636-1067. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, more of the Burgundy and Gold postgame show next.
game, but that dude right there has been balling despite having a ton of different quarterbacks. And here is Debo.
Debo Samuel off to the races. Samuel getting physical.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Major highlight for
Debo Samuel, impactful performance here on Christmas Day for the Washington Commanders, but not enough to pull out the victory. Washington falling to 4-12 on the season as they fall 30-23 at the hands of the Dallas Cowboys. Talk about some injury situations here in this final hour of the postgame show as well. Linnell Willingham bringing you the Burgundy and Gold postgame show here on Christmas. Happy holidays to you and yours. Call us at 1-800-636-1067. You can keep the conversation rolling with me on social media as well. It is at NELL_BTP. Yeah, look, we know the defense is bad. How bad is the defense is the question. How many starters does Washington need to replace on that side of the football? Because I'll be real. I feel good about what we have offensively. I do. If they're healthy at the skill position spot and along the offensive line and at quarterback, most importantly, right? I like what they have on offense. I think Cliff, somebody got to get him to run the damn ball consistently. But outside of that, I think like we saw it last year. We've seen it at times this year. Innovative play designer, gets in his groove offensively at times. It's just about the consistency. And I think that lack of consistency is the big reason why we're not singing Cliff's praises more. Because there have been some good performances. Today is another one. I know what folks are going to say, well, it's against the Dallas defense, Linnell. Well, you were down 3 starters up front along your offensive line. You're playing with your third-string quarterback. I think it's okay to give the Washington offense a little bit of credit for how they played here this afternoon. Who do you want to give credit to? 1-800-636-1067 is the number. Let's go to Andy. Who wants to chime in? What's up, Andy? Andy? Let's put Andy on hold. Let's go to Dwayne in Silver Spring. What's going on, Dwayne?
Hey, I wanted to know, I don't even know if you talked about this earlier, but what do you think about, I'm glad they kept it close, but what do you think about the tight end Senate? Do you think he showed enough from the time he's been given, or you think we need to upgrade at that position also?
Look, I think Ben Sinnott overall is going to be a solid quality football player that'll have a long career. I just don't know how much value he has as a receiver at tight end. I think he is more of a move tight end / H-back, fullback, if you pick up what I'm putting down. I don't know how much he's going to give you as a pass catcher. That is a position and a skill I will be going out and trying to acquire via free agency. Can I get a legitimate pass catcher at the tight end spot? That is something that I'll be focused on. I'm not really overly impressed by Ben Sinnott as a receiver, but as a blocker, I think he competes his ass off, and I think he's helped spring some big runs this year.
Appreciate that. Hey, Lynette, also one more thing. Hey, I gave you a nickname. I call you Yick, youngest in charge.
There we go. Well, there we go. Appreciate you as always. Let's go to Bello. Wanted to chime in. What's going on?
What's going on, Lynette? How you doing, man?
Good, brother, man. How you?
Hey, listen, man. As a first-time season ticket holder, I'm very disappointed. You know, I'm tired. There's no more victories here, man. I'm not going to give credit to nobody. You know, because it seemed like the secondary sitting at the bar while their speed just runs past them. It's almost like the camera pans and you see all this wide space, and next thing you know, they got a first down more. And then what really pissed me off, and I'll let you go, man, is the celebrations. Like, what are we celebrating when you're not stopping them? You're not getting them off the field. You celebrating them, then next thing you know, they scoring points. The defense, once again, lost this game. That's all I got to say today.
Appreciate you as always, but happy holidays to you and yours. I mean, he's not lying. So I know people are upset about the celebrations thing. And I'll compare it to this. When I was in high school and college, my teams were terrible. Yet, guys, after the game, after we're getting blown out 56-0, will go on social media and post pictures with their uniform on and their favorite rap lyric, acting like they did something, like we didn't just get punished. It does ruffle my feathers a little bit. There's so many other issues, though, with this group that I refuse to make that the number one point and the number one takeaway. But yeah, they got problems on defense. And I think the most disheartening part about it is I don't know if they have the resources to fix all of these problems in one offseason. Because in reality, you should be bringing in some competition at corner for both the outside spot and in the nickel. But in reality, it feels like they're prepared to go into next year with Mikey and Trey Amos as the starting corner duo. Do you feel confident in that? I don't. On the defensive line, Dorrance Armstrong suffered a torn ACL. I don't know when Dorrance is coming back. So you need 2 defensive ends probably. One of them I'd like to be a marquee pass rusher that can impact the quarterback on a down-in, down-out basis. You need 2 to 3 of those guys off of the edge. On the interior, Deron Payne is set to count $27 million against the cap next year. Is his production worth that type of cap hit? So you got to decide there. Am I trading him? Am I asking him to restructure? He's a good run defender, doesn't give you much as a pass rusher. Javon Kinlaw. Hey, Slim. The Kinlaw experience to me, for $15 million per, I just need more consistency down in, down out. He makes 3 splash plays out of 50 defensive snaps. I need more. 6'5", 320 pounds, and getting driven off the football by double teams. Not able to hold the point of attack. We don't have a single interior defensive lineman. Deron Payne does it well sometimes. Outside of him, that can hold the point of attack against a double team. That's why I'm not here throwing a damn parade for Trezon Newton getting 3 sacks, 3 coverage sacks at that. Can't hold the point of attack. Dallas rushed the football today at a 4.8 yards a clip pop. Like 211 yards on 44 carries. Did whatever they wanted. So I'm not going to praise Trezon Newton for having 3 coverage sacks. Brandon is in Maryland. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, so I'm all for listening and saying, yeah, there's definitely a lot of issues in the defense, but I will have to say that I'm very unhappy with Terry. Like, he threw a fit at the beginning of the season to make sure he got paid. Did he really show up this season?
He's been hurt. He's been hurt.
Well, I mean, really, like, yeah, he's been hurt.
So what else is there to say about it? He's been hurt.
All right, you guys are playing football. You're a grown man sport. Like, sometimes you're going to have to suck it up.
You're saying he should have played through the – hey, that to each his own. To each his own. If that's what you're going to choose to be upset with, fine. There are 1,000,001 problems that exist right now within the roster. Terry McLaurin is not one of them. Happy holidays to you and yours, my friend. Jason is in Maryland. What's up, Jason?
Hello?
Jason, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Linnell? Merry Christmas and all. Hope all is well.
How are you, man? Merry Christmas to you.
I mean, that just kind of happened like I thought it was going to happen. I just hope the big guys are okay. For me, Bill was the one bright side. But, it's all about the off season and adding probably 20 starters to this defense, or active playmakers, and that's where we're at.
Bill was the bright spot. I think you're spot on about the defense. I appreciate the call, Jason. Happy holidays to you and yours. I mean, that's the thing I can't stop thinking about here, right? And the more and more I think, the more and more I realize, man, like, do they have the resources to fill all of these holes in one offseason? Probably not. When we're talking about the first-round draft pick that they have, smart thing's probably going to be to trade back to get more capital. You need as many swings at the piñata, so to speak. You need as many bites at the apple, so to speak, as possible to get talent into this defense. You don't have a playmaker at any level of your defense right now. And you're going into year 3. So I don't know. Can I be mad? Can I be upset at the front office about that? We don't have one playmaker at any level. Now, here's the thing, though, and I said it a couple of weeks ago on Burgundy and Gold today. Mikey Samerson was somebody that I was putting under the microscope during the final stretch of the season. He's made some plays on the football that have been great. He's gotten beat, which is what all corners do. But, man, I would love to know just how impactful Mikey Samerson and Trey Amos, for that matter, could be if they had a pass rush. The problem with this defense starts and finishes in this front four. I know fantasy and wagering and gambling and all that has changed people's opinion about what football is. Football is a game won in the trenches. That is the main problem with this football team. They're not good enough in the trenches on defense. And I know people are going to will say the secondary, they're busting coverages, they're doing this, they're doing that. If you can't consistently impact the quarterback, you're not going to have success in the defense. Point blank. 1-800-636-1067 is the number. Big John wants to chime in. What's going on?
Hello.
What's going on?
Hey, who is this?
You're on the radio,
Linnell.
buddy. What's going on?
Linnell, hold on a minute, man. I got somebody, man, that want to talk, man. Hold on, man. He's a good Redskin, good Commodore fan, man. Hold on, he got something to say. On the dog and win. God, how you get out of here, man?
Well, John, hey, John, we're gonna throw you back on hold. Clearly, he's not ready. Alan wants to chime in. What's up, Alan?
Hey, Linnell, how you doing?
Alan.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Hey, doing all right besides our defense.
Well,
how you doing?
Me too. I mean, I feel the same way you do about the defense. And you know what's crazy about it? Last year, I thought our main issue was we just couldn't stop the run. We couldn't set the edge. This year, we're pretty decent setting the edge sometimes, and we're getting gashed in the interior where we've spent all of our resources at. That D tackle room has so many resources invested into it, yet it's not worth a damn.
But yes, we got to redraft. We got to draft Caleb Downs. That's what we got to do. And we got to reset everything.
Caleb Downs, a safety. We can't get after the quarterback to save our lives. But we want
draft a safety. Yes, sir.
Hey, look, I know Caleb can make plays. I'm not totally against it at the right pick, and depending on who's on the board.
Some money. We signed Trey Hendrickson. We paid for some DNs. Bob Miller, gone. Bobby Wagner, gone. It's time to get young.
We'll see. Appreciate the call as always. 1-800-636-1067. 1-800-636-1067 is the number. Santiago wanting to chime in. What's up, Santiago?
What's going on, Linnell? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing? Happy holidays to you.
Real tough. Well, first of all, happy holidays to you as well, my
Appreciate
brother.
you,
man. Disappointed, but optimistic. My question, Linnell, I don't know. I'm feeling this kind of way because now football runs deep with me. My nephew, he plays for another NFL team, and he's done won a Super Bowl as a rookie already. So one of the things that I'm looking at for our team, all of the football that I've seen, I know everybody wants Dan Quinn to stay the defensive coordinator. Do you think that if we got a different defensive coordinator with a different scheme, because sometimes I don't, maybe I'm hoping I'm wrong. When we play Dallas, it's almost like, I don't know if, because Cliff has been in Dallas for, so long or whatever the case may be, that, I'm saying, sometimes as a fan, it feels like that, some of the things that they might be a step on a couple of plays. Do you think that if we change up with a different defensive coordinator, that maybe that could be a different?
I don't look. I've said it all year long, and I appreciate the call. Happy holidays. I've said it all year long. Anybody that thinks the problem is the scheme, the play calling, come on. When you don't have talent, you're not going to get stops. Point blank. I'll repeat it. When you don't have talent, you're not going to get stops. That's why the defense is not good. I've been steadfast with this. It is a talent issue on the defensive side of the football. From the front four to the second level to the secondary. They're not good enough. And lack of team speed defensively is the biggest thing that plagues this group. Point blank. 1-800-636-1067. Tony, what's the time? What's up, Tony?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Gotcha. What's going on, man? Happy holidays to you.
I'm sorry. Happy holidays to you. Am I feeling positive? Kind of 50-50. They went out last year, fixed the offensive line. I think that's one of our positives. Running back, I like this. I like Bill. I like him running, and I like Rodriguez. Defensive side, the eye test, it fails all over the field. And you're exactly right. We can get the best cornerbacks and the best safeties, but if we cannot get the quarterback off his spot and make him nervous, look what J.J. McCarthy did to us. There's a prime example.
Yep.
If you can't get to a quarterback and you're at the level of him, he's gonna pick you apart like he did.
Yep.
And then you try to go against Zach. Zach's gonna eat our lunch. What he did. I mean, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for our front four defensive linemen. I agree with Kinlaw. $15 million out the window. Deron Payne. I don't even know what to say about him. But the eye test.
Well, he didn't play today, so I don't think he deserves any blame for what happened today. And I'll say this: Deron Payne made himself some money today by not playing, because if you thought he was average at stopping the run, well, what is Javon Kinlaw and Jazon Newton?
Yeah. You're right, brother. I forgot he did not play, but in a whole, as the season wore on, he had one or two good plays, and then he disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's sports, man. What have you done for me lately? Not what you did for me last game. Bring it this game. And we have no standouts on defense. We have nothing. We you know, I'd start with that defensive line. We got to get some
That is the problem. That is the problem, Tony, and I appreciate the call. Happy holidays to you and yours, man. Anybody watching this group, like, it's not complicated. It's not rocket science to figure out the number one issue with the defense. They need a difference maker, a disruptor up front, by way of a pass rusher and by way of a guy that takes pride in stopping the run. A guy that wants to do nothing else but shut down the opposing team's run game. Our run defense all year was atrocious. And teams, and I kept hearing it on the broadcast because that's the messaging that they keep pointing to outside of the building or inside the building is, oh, well, we're doing a good job running, setting the edge defensively. People are starting to run up the middle on us, those downhill runs. You damn right. But it's a shame that you're getting run on downhill. If you all listen to the broadcast, I know some of you are leaving the game, but if you listen to the broadcast, these broadcasters have meetings, production meetings with the coaches. When they spoke to Dan Quinn and company, what he told them was, yeah, we're good at setting the edge. We're just having trouble stopping these downhill runs. Well, why the hell can't you stop the downhill runs? Look at what you have invested at the defensive tackle spot. Deron Payne's the highest cap hit. Jazon Newton's a fringe first-round pick. You gave Javon Kinlaw $15 million per, yet you're still giving up downhill runs. Frankie Louvu does whatever he wants at times. Bobby Wagner's a step slow on some plays. They have problems at every level of the defense. Stop acting like Dan Quinn is supposed to make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what. And I get it, right? People are going to say, well, you got to coach up the talent and get them to play to the best of their abilities. Hey, look, pal, it's tough. When you can't do it, you can't do it. 1-800-636-1067. More of your calls next here on the Burgundy and Gold postgame show.
time.
That's 180 rushing yards now for the Cowboys. They sell the fake, but Washington doesn't buy it. Ricky Barber, rookie out of Central Florida.
Ricky Barber, undrafted free agent, coming up with his first career sacks. Where the hell has Ricky Barber been all year long? When I'm watching Sheldon Day, who has no future here, when I'm watching Shy Tuttle, give me some more Ricky Barber. Burgundy and Gold postgame show right here on 106.7 The Fan and the Team 980. Liddell Willingham taking you up to 6 o'clock. Merry Christmas to you and yours. The Commanders falling to 4-12 on the season. 30-23 loss at the hands of the Dallas Cowboys. A couple of numbers here on the afternoon. Dallas offensively in fuego to start this thing. On the day, 44 carries, 211 yards, 4.8 yards a pop for the Cowboys on the ground. Cavante Turpin with an 86-yard touchdown reception by way of a Washington busted coverage. It was not a good day for the defense. Offensively, though, I'm going to be apologetic as possible here. I came on these airwaves yesterday and said I did not think that they would score today. One, because it was Josh Johnson. Two, because it was Cliff Kingsbury on a short week. We saw what happened Thursday night against Green Bay. We saw what happened last year on Thursday night against Philadelphia. I did not have a lot of confidence in their offense, but kudos to Cliff Kingsbury, kudos to Josh Johnson, and then more importantly, Bill Krosky Merritt, showing that, hey, in a lost season, which feels like it's from hell, I'm a bright spot. 7th-round pick that has contributed all year long. I like what he has. He just so happens to be the only running back under contract next year. So I expect him to get a fair crack at being the starter next year. Not handing it to him, bringing some veteran competition, but my eyes are wide open when it comes to Bill Merritt. Deebo Samuel had a good afternoon as well. 2 catches for 68 yards, including a 41-yarder. He also had a 29-yard run, rather. He was good, looked explosive, popped. McLaurin, 5 receptions for 63 yards on 7 targets. You saw Ben Sinnott get involved in the pass game, 3 catches. Believe that's a career high. 29 yards, had a long of 12. Wasn't sexy, wasn't flashy, but made some good plays. Treylon Burks had a catch. He made a hell of a block on the Bill Krosky Merritt 72-yard scamper. Those are the positives on offense. On defense, Jazon Newton is what I want to get into here because I'm reading social media and people are giving me a hard time because I'm being critical of the way that him and the entire defensive line played today. You can have 6 sacks. That's fine. Make sure you're giving as much credit to Mikey Samers still, Quan Martin, Jonathan Jones, Noah I, as you are the D tackles for those 6 sacks here today. The secondary forced Dak to hold on to the football. And that's why those sacks were able to be had. I'm not saying Jazon Newton, was awful today, but damn it, versus the run he was. Can't get blown 7-8 yards off the football. He made effort sacks today, and he gets credit for that from me. But I'm not going to sit here and change my entire thought process with him because of one meaningless December football game in which he efforted his way into 3 sacks. He had 1 to 3 good rushes total on the day, I thought. And 2 of the 3 sacks came by way of him just continuing to play and continuing to keep his feet moving and continuing to pursue something he deserves credit for. Because his teammate, Javon Kinlaw, I don't know if he's not in shape, but pursuing the football, not something he's interested in. Can't win with it, can't coach with it. I'm not doing it. $15 million per, 6'5", 330 pounds, and got pushed from D.C. to Landover all afternoon long. That's why the Cowboys ran for 211 yards at 4.8 yards a pop. Got to be better. Your calls, though, at 1-800-636-1067. Chris is in Largo. What's up, Chris?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's going on, Chris?
Oh, I am on the radio.
You're on the air. Let's go.
Sorry about that. Well, my thought process is it just came from the game. I was driving back from the game. And I don't know, it's kind of like basketball. Sometimes basketball, you can put in the wrong lineups at times, and it just you mess up the flow of the game and you end up losing. It's not the talent on the field; it's more who you putting in at what times. They were putting in them young guys in on first and second downs, and they were cooking. And then they would take them out on third down, put the old fellas in, and they
what young guys are you? What young guys are you talking about? That was cooking today.
I thought Newton was cooking. Newton was cooking. They were getting McGee was cooking.
Boy, McGee played well. Yes.
First and second down. If you look back, if you go rewatch the game, on first and second down, the defense were doing pretty well, and then they would switch it to third and put the old guys in, and next thing you know, they just ran right through them. And you know, I mean, these guys need a little bit of time, a little bit of development. Next year, we'll get some better players to go along with them. I think we need to phase out the guys that, you know, they have strong relations and make them a coach or something, but they can't just be on the field 99% of the time. We can't continue to do that because, you know, I love Bobby Wagner, but it's a cheat code to just do a swing route on us and you score a touchdown because he can't cover it. Right? Like, it's just
I think Chris, you're echoing the sentiments of the fan base, man. You got to get an influx of talent in here on the defensive side of the football. Appreciate your call. Happy holidays to you and yours. I'm going to say something that may rub a lot of people the wrong way. I would be very interested in bringing Bobby Wagner back, not to play 100% of the snaps, though. I think there's value that he has off the field. I think there's value that he has in terms of his knowledge of the scheme, getting guys lined up, so on and so forth. I just wouldn't be playing him 99% of the snaps, 100% of the snaps. I wouldn't be against bringing him back in a reduced role. John is in D.C. What's up, John?
You said I'm going to be next.
John, what's up?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. What's going on? Happy holidays.
Okay. Happy holidays to you. I kind of got you on like my tablet, and I'm talking to you on the phone at the same time. It's weird.
All good, man. What you got?
So, you know, it's a little bit delayed, but yeah, I'm here. I'm in the moment with you. What I wanted to say is that I'm tired of us being this team, and it was too much to watch, to label and go on. But the main thing in which I'm picking with, and the thing that really has me like in my bag, the reason why I'm so mad is like, what did Adam Peters envision when he put this together? And we could kind of like see the shuffle during the draft when he couldn't get Myles Garrett, and he was kind of getting rid of Martin Mayhew. You kind of see he was getting away from the Martin Mayhew way of doing things, but the way he kind of like constructed this roster, I don't know what he envisioned. I don't fully see it, and I know it's because of injuries, but that is what is really biting the most, because
it's not a good roster despite the injuries. And I appreciate the call. Look, anybody that is pointing, you know, anger and frustration towards Adam Peters, he deserves it. This is not a good roster, top to bottom. Not enough depth, not enough high-end starters. Point blank. This is a talent-based league. You all can blame coaches all you want. When you don't have the horses, you don't got the horses. I'm not trying to make excuses for the coaching staff, but like, we got to realistically look in the mirror and ask ourselves, how many above average starters do we have on defense? See, I've even lowered the bar. At first it was, how many blue chippers do we have? None. Zilch. They need a drastic influx of talent. Point blank. On the defensive line, at the second level of the defense, and in the secondary. It is what it is. Carlton's in D.C. What's up, Carlton?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man? How are you? Happy holidays.
Good, man. Look, I agree with you on 100% of what you're saying, but I got a question for you, a quick question.
For sure. Go ahead.
Oh, the coaching thing is got me, because when we look at other teams, and we've seen it numerous of times, that other teams go out with injuries, like the 49ers. We can count all their injuries. I can't even name their starting defensive line. I don't even know their number one wide receiver. But they seem to find a way to win. Do you think
that roster, you're talking about 49ers, right? And I love when people use this example, because I felt this way too. But when you really put your frustration to the side and think about it, that program has been in place for 6 to 7 years now to this point. They have built the floor of their roster by way of the draft and free agency. We're in year 2 of a rebuild. We don't have the depth. We don't. So it's hard for us to overcome the injury bug. I'm not trying to build excuses, but like you got to give them a little bit more time. But what we have now is inexcusable. I go back to the preseason. It was shown there. You were outscored by damn near 100 points in the preseason because your depth ain't there.
Yeah,
they got to fix it this
offseason.
offseason.
The thing about this, and the thing about this is, was getting rid of Jonathan Allen the right choice? Or
well, hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020, but it doesn't look like the right choice, for being honest. And I appreciate the call, man. Happy holidays to everyone out there listening. Burgundy and Gold post-game show right here on 106.7 The Fan. Washington falling to 4-12 after a 30-23 loss at the hands of the Cowboys. Bright spots from the game. Bill Merritt, excellent offensively. 72-yard touchdown run. Deebo Samuel looked spry, looked like he had some juice. I thought Josh Johnson played as good of a game as you possibly could have for a backup. Terry McLaurin, 5 catches. Defensively in the stat sheet, I know everyone's excited about it. Josiah Newton coming up with 3 sacks, showing good effort on the afternoon. Still want to see him be 3 or 4 times better versus the run. It's hard. It's hard for me to like be overly flowing with praise when it comes to Newton because of the run defense. That is the number one job and responsibility of a D tackle, is to play the run on your way to the quarterback. He can't play the run. So while I'm excited for him, 3 sacks is great. I'm happy he gets to, celebrate with his fam and all that. I'm not about to sit here and act as if Josiah Newton was so impactful this afternoon, or has been so impactful throughout the first 2 years of his career. It's not good enough. It's a fringe first-round pick. Bill. What up, Bill?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you, buddy? Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to you too, man. Hey, I'm enjoying your show. I just want to let you know that.
Appreciate it.
There's one thing that you said that I kind of take issue with. You said just a few minutes ago, and you've said it a couple of times during your broadcast. I think that there is a lack of good talent on defense, but I still think that part goes back to coaching. I kind of agree with the last caller who mentioned the 49ers. Now, I know they are deep into their program, but, you look in New England, where their coach, they have a first-year coach.
New England is last year's – look, New England is this year's Commanders, bro. They're playing a last-place schedule, and they had hella draft picks and hella money to spend in free agency. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
All I'm saying is that, playing defense, I sort of look at it the same way I look at in basketball. Your shot might not be going in every night, but every night you can go out there and play defense and rebound. And that's attitude and the approach you take to the game. And I kind of apply that same metric to football. They don't have the best talent, but if they, with the right coaching, the right scheme, they should be able to go out there and represent themselves better than they did this season. And I think that goes to coaching. That's my only point.
Hey, I hear you. I think it's valid. I appreciate the call. 1-800-636-1067. We'll wrap up the show on the other side of the break. This is the Burgundy and Gold postgame show here on 106.7 The Fan and simulcasted on the Team 980. Final moments of the Burgundy and Gold postgame show right here on 106.7 The Fan of the Team 980. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and yours from our family here at 106.7 The Fan of the Team 980. Tough Christmas, huh, guys? Washington, 30-23 losers at the hands of the Dallas Cowboys. Another miserable performance for this Commanders defense that was actually much better in the second half. 480 yards of total offense given up. The Dallas Cowboys, this is the difference in the game, if we're being honest, right? And stop them is the answer. But they were 6 for 6 on fourth down. That crushed them. Their inability to stop the run crushed them. Their inability to get after Dak crushed them. Another lousy defensive performance, and I expected the run defense to take a major step back because there was no Daron Payne, who has not been very impactful as a pass rusher, but has been a pretty darn good run defender for the majority of this season. Javon Kinlaw and Jazon Newton today were god-awful playing the run. And I know Newton finished with 3 sacks, but doesn't excuse him getting thrown around like a rag doll in the run game. Got to be better. Javon Kinlaw, 6'5", 330 pounds. You can't get moved 8 yards off the ball every time you get double teamed, Slim. Fall. I'd rather you fall in the hole. It's hard to watch, man. Thought Mikey Sanders still made some good plays, also had some boo-boos. He's another guy where it's like, damn, I know that there's something there with Mikey. I think he's a good football player that'll have a long career. The question is he a legit starting outside corner? I think he lacks the change of direction ability. I don't know if he's twitched up enough. I know he plays the ball really well. I know he's a willing participant in terms of run defense, and he's not scared. The other stuff, got to coach him up on, man. 1-800-636-1067. Kevin wants to chime in. What's up, Kev? Happy holidays.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Fennell. Thanks for taking my call. So, I'm glad they are fighting and that they're not, getting blown out now by 21 or more every game as they were for about a month straight. But to your point, how are we going to restock this team given the following? Okay, if we're being honest, we're going to lose next week in Philly, and we're going to have Adam Peters 2 years in as GM at 16-18, 2 games below 500. Yeah, we won 2 playoff games. It was awesome. So I give him that. Of course, we were humiliated in my mind in the second half of that NFC Championship game. And since the second half of that championship game, 2025 has been a nightmare. But if you just look at the way the roster was constructed, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at our big swings in free agency or trade over 2 years, let's just go through them real fast, Linnell, if you let me.
Mm-hmm.
Loses, average. Mariota, good. Chin, good, but not retained. Lattimore trade, bust, and it was costly draft pick-wise. Samuel trade, good. But he's now on the wrong side of 30, and he's going to get paid somewhere. I don't know if it's here. Tunsil, home run, worth every penny. Kinlaw, below average. You've already pointed it out. 3 splash plays out of 50 a game, not good enough, especially at $15 million annual. Kickers, both years, bust. Okay, let's get the high picks. Daniels, great. But you know who else is great? All of a sudden, Caleb Williams and Drake May, and they're not hurt. They don't get hurt. Okay? Let's look at Johnny Newton. Nearly a bust at second-round slotting. Like you said, those were 3 empty calorie sacks today. Sanders still solid.
Kevin, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kevin. You my dog, Kevin. I'm telling you, it's going to be me and Grant on here tomorrow. And I know that is going to be a point of contention throughout the show. I know that it is. Because I love the way they were empty calorie sacks. Because he had 6 seconds to get to the guy. I totally agree.
With you.
Yeah.
Daron Payne and Javon Kinlaw and Johnny Newton, for the talent they have and for where they were drafted, etc., it sucks. Okay? It sucks. All right? And I'll just finish real fast. So you got Sinnott, okay, second round, but, almost busted. He's solid. Like you said, he's an NFL tight end, but you gave up the second. McCaffrey, good kick returner. But for where they drafted him, I don't know. Coleman, solid. I love Brandon Coleman can play anywhere. He's great as a solid player.
Right.
Hampton was a bust. McGee, he's solid, but he's injury prone. Connerly, good, might be great one day. Amos, good, might be great one day. Lane, good, might be great as punt returner. I mean, Your Cy Young gets.
Don't forget about Bill Merritt in the 7th round. Now, the one feather in AP's
I was
cap.
going to get to Bill.
Yeah.
I was going to get to Bill. All right. So all of a sudden, the guys who have been drafting college players or who have been advising on drafting college players back to the Allen regime, because for some reason Adam Peters didn't replace not one college scout. I think they were questionable a year ago, other than Daniels, and they've been pretty solid this year. But I guess my point is we have so many holes.
Yeah.
We're about to be 4-13. How are we going to be a team that competes? We're so far behind.
Hope and a prayer, Kevin. Hope and a prayer, Kevin. I appreciate.
Am I wrong? Am I being too harsh?
I don't think you are. I think you're just being brutally honest about it, man. And I appreciate. It's sobering to hear this type of honesty from a fan. And I appreciate your call. Happy holidays, brother. 1-800-636-1067. About a minute left to go here. I'll wrap up the show with these thoughts. It has been a miserable 2025 campaign. This team has been decimated by way of injury. Netflix put up the graphic. Washington has lost the most games from a week 1 starter out of any team in the National Football League. So the injury situation is real. But there is also a severe talent gap when it comes to this group. They don't have enough talent on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, I don't think there's much straightening, quote unquote, that you need to do to get that group back on track. Defensively, though, we don't have enough time to talk about all the holes they have. Back with you tomorrow right here on 106.7 The Fan with my guy Grant Paulson. We'll take you up to 6:30, breaking down every angle of Washington's season home finale loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Keep the conversation rolling with me on social media. It is at NELL_BTP. Thank you for your calls. Thank you to Wes, and Merry Christmas, everyone.